Hey everybody, happy Friday and welcome back to the Air Warfare Group. This is Juice. So in today's video I'm going to be asking the question to you, does speed matter when it comes to air refueling in DCS world? And I'm going to be asking for your feedback at the end of the video about this subject. So as you guys know, over the last couple of weeks DCS has released, or ED has released, two updates. One that upped the gain levels on the air refueling speeds with the flight control system engaged with the air refueling door open at speeds over 300, which affected how it refueled. Now some people had problems refueling and some people didn't. However, we noticed that the slower the tanker got, the easier it was to air refuel, and the flight control system was not overly sensitive. Last update on Wednesday supposedly fixed that. However, it's not completely fixed in my book, and here's why. The F-16 is a straight boom tanker receiver. It can't take off a basket, it can't take off of a multi-point refueling system. It only goes from the boom directly through the hose, or directly through the tube into the aircraft through the receptacle. Now the 707 AAR altitudes for this configuration and speed limits are sea level to 35,000 feet and about 200 to 325 knots. Now why does speed matter with the Viper? The Viper loves to do AAR at 315 knots, and this is from a KC-135 aircraft commander and instructor pilot. And I have some experience in the air refueling world as a support person. I took care of air refueling crews, and I went on about 8 missions in Saudi Arabia where we did a mix of air refueling missions on Navy and Air Force assets, and you guys can see videos on that. If you look down through the history, you'll see Juice doing air-to-air refueling in 1995. So I won't bore you with my story, but this is why the Viper loves to air refuel at 315. So in AAR boom aircraft, or boom and receptacle aircraft where there is no basket or no hose involved, the speeds really affect the attitude of the receiver aircraft and the refueling aircraft. So the provider of the fuel and the receiver, if they're going slower, that angle of their attitude angle to maintain level flight path has to increase, which changes the angle on the boom receptacle and the angle on the probe, so that it may not mate properly when it goes in. So there are certain speeds for certain aircraft when using this system. Now another oddity in the boom and probe, the boom and receptacle system I should say, is the A10. The A10 model for years has been go ugly early, and the reason they go early, we know why they're ugly, but the reason we go early is because it takes them forever to get there. They go really slow. So about 215 knots is good, and I'll show you in the video later if you want it how to set that up in the A10 so you have the right tanker. Not one tanker can satisfy all receivers in the real world. A tanker in the real world can, because they can always change their speeds and altitudes to do it. So let me know in the comments and if you want to see a video on how to do that based on different tankers and stuff. I can show you how to set it up in the editor. So helicopters, oh man, those guys are super slow, super draggy. The Earth just rejects them. They don't even fly. And about 120 knots is good for helicopters. The HH-60 mod that we fly in the Air Warfare Group, right here is the one with the skin that looks kind of like the HH-60 Golf. This mod, after you get over about 145 knots, the aircraft starts to shake, which Takeda, our former Black Hawk pilot, says is about right. If you go 150, you're definitely rattling. And so the KC-130 on this setup right here, I think we have it set up to do about 207 knots. That's the lowest the mission editor would let us set it up. And if I do that video for you guys, if you guys request it, I'll show you some of the lim facts that I had trying to set this up. And I also have in our community section links to 4 missions on 4 different maps that you can do AAR with this helicopter mod behind a KC-130. It's already set up for you. All you got to do is fly out there and plug it. It's got good speeds. You'll be able to catch it and do just fine. So other MPRS considerations are when you have the configuration for the KC-135 in the multi-point refueling system, say for doing probe and drogue type air refueling like this. You have a lot of different considerations. Some are obvious and some aren't obvious. One of the obvious ones is how fast the receiver can go and how fast the tanker can go, or how slow the tanker can go. The receivers in this case are Hornets, so they can go as fast as the tanker wants to go, pretty much down to a certain speed. Now, but the reason there's speed considerations with probe and drogue is the faster that the tanker is going, the higher in the air the basket will fly. If you can see this guy here, he's hooked up with a Tomcat over the Nevada desert, and he's refueling from for a red flag mission, and he's up there plugging it, and he's lifted up on the hose to bring some gravity off of it. You see the hose in the background that you can't see the basket on, just below the nose of the aircraft. That hose is what it drags down. So the slower the aircraft goes in the air, the lower that hose is. So too low could be too bad, and too high could be too bad. So there's an optimum speed that they publish for each aircraft for receivers. If you get that basket up too high in the airflow, then you're getting up into the wake turbulence more. If you get it too low, sometimes it's hard for the receiver to get it at the right angle. Now here's some graphics that I got out of the ATP 56 Alpha, which is the NATO air refueling rig, and this is for the 707 airframe, and it tells you some of the angles limits on speed where the hose hangs out and everything. And you can, if you Google that publication, you can read more in detail with it. I won't go into that for DCS World. As I mentioned, the probe and drogue has restrictions for obvious and unobvious reasons. One of the unobvious reasons that I found out after I got educated by guys that work actually in maintenance on the old Legacy Hornets and the Super Hornets is that there's a speed limit for the Super Hornet to refuel. And the speed limit for it is 300 to 400 knots. However, that little door that you see opening right here, that door has a speed limit too, and they'd recommend you not open that door over 275 knots. So for that reason, the KC-135 refueling FA-18s is recommended to do it between 200 and 275 knots. Some of the things that I found in the FA-18 NATOPS are some of the speed limitations that you get with all the different systems, and right at the top there you see refueling probe extension retraction. It says 300 knots. Position and action, extension retraction is 300 and extended is 400. But I had a Navy maintainer tell me that it's really around 275, that they don't want to see that door open because it puts stress on the mechanism. They have to replace it more often. If you're a Navy maintainer and have some experience on that, feel free to correct us and share in the comments and everything. Like I said, we go off of hearsay a lot, try to back it up with research on the internet. Google is your friend there. And we try to get it right, but you guys sharing in the things, sharing in the comments and stuff about some of the things you've done in the military is what makes this community a lot better. So with that, like I said at the beginning, I want to request your feedback in the comments. Let us know if you want to see a video voted up and everything. You know, put it, or you know, if somebody puts the comment in there, if you want to like that comment, we'll see the likes on that comment, and we'll use that as a gauge if we want to put together another video. How to set it up. We'll do it on one of the free maps so you guys can do it, and then we'll also, if you like, we'll give you some links to some of our missions that already have tankers set up for various altitudes and airspeeds. So with that, I'd like to say thank you guys for watching. Be sure to go over to Prickly Hedgehog 72 for his weekly update today, and also wish him a happy birthday. Today, Prickly Hedgehog is turning a special birthday. I won't tell you how many years because I don't want anybody to go cut him in half and try to count the rings. And I did a special surprise for his birthday, and hopefully I'll let him tell you about that in one of his comments and everything. Let's just say it involves an interview with a very famous YouTuber in the air world. So with that, thanks again. Be sure to like, subscribe, and recommend to a friend. The biggest thing is if you like this video and you think it'll help somebody, and any of our videos and you think it'll help somebody, go ahead and share that with them. Just pass it out there. Like I said, we don't monetize here. We're not trying to make money. We just know that by getting more subscribers and getting likes, that we're doing a good job, and it motivates us to put out good, more material. Tyro is busy working on his ATP and commercial pilot's license, but he hasn't forgot about us. He is going to be working on some content as time permits. And Takeda is, I just caught up with Takeda last night. He's deployed for fire season, helping put out fires from the air, and we'll hopefully get him to check in and maybe share some pictures from that. With that, I wish you guys all a safe weekend, and we'll see you in the next video.